Yesterday, I reviewed the Legacy of the Jedi 3-pack, so I figured it was only right to review the Legacy of the Sith 3-pack today. What's up, Star Wars fans and action figure collectors? In today's video, we're going to be reviewing the Legacy of the Sith 3-pack, and some of the errors on this package are very funny. We're going to start off with the back side of the package. Now, the error I wanted to point out is in here, where it says 1,000 years before the Battle of Yavin, Darth Bane brings the Sith Order back from near extinction on his quest to reclaim their glory. His legacy is carried on by Darth Nihilus, who blights whole worlds with his desire to destroy the Jedi. Now, Darth Nihilus actually was around several thousand years before Darth Bane. He was not part of Darth Bane's legacy. I think the person writing this thought Darth Bane created the Sith, not the rule of two. Here is a picture of all three Sith Lords, and down here are pictures of two other sets in the line, the Galen Merrick Legacy and the Jedi Legacy, which I reviewed yesterday. On the front, all we see is where the figures were, all three of the figures' names, and a picture of Darth Maul. The top and bottom both have this art. This is actually a really cool looking picture, I gotta say. And both of the sides are blank. Starting off with probably the most desirable figure in this set is Darth Nihilus. His lightsaber is pretty standard and has fine sculpting. It fits into the figure's hand nicely and won't fall out from the shaking or the figure falling over. The figure itself has really nice sculpting and good paint apps as well. Obviously most of the figure is black, except for the face mask. On the face you can actually see a little bit of black below the mask, which is like a head that the sculptor has designed. Overall, this figure's detail is really nice, and the soft goods cape on the back and the soft goods cloth look really cool on the figure. As for articulation, Darth Nihilus is 14 POA, with articulation at the head, ball joints at both shoulders, ball joints at the elbows, swivels at the wrist, a swivel at the waist, swivels at the legs, ball joints at the knees, and ball joints at the ankles. I can't tell if his head's a swivel or a ball joint because of his hood, but it has no mobility. A rating out of 10 I would give this figure is probably an 8 or 9 out of 10. Overall, this figure's detail is really cool, and I would highly recommend getting this set if you're into Sith figures. The next figure we're going to review is Darth Bane. Let's start out with the accessories. Darth Bane has a standard hilted purple lightsaber. This is actually another error in the set. Darth Bane never was depicted wielding a purple lightsaber, only using a red lightsaber with a curved hilt similar to Count Dooku's. This figure also comes with Darth Bane's Orbalisk armor. For those of you who don't know, Orbalisks are near indestructible parasites that attach to a host and protect them from almost any kind of injury, while also causing extreme pain. Darth Bane actually was fueled by this pain though, as he's a Dark Lord of the Sith, and it increases power. The headpiece fits well onto the figure if you orient it right, but it may be difficult to orient. These two wrist cuffs, which I think these are wrist cuffs, look good on the figure, but are a little bit flimsy and relatively challenging to orient correctly. They do look good if you get it right, but it's kind of personal preference. Some people may find displaying them without them is better. The figure also comes with a removable cape and chest plate, which I won't be removing right now, but here's what they look like on the figure. This figure has really good face sculpting and really good paint apps. The sculpting on all the armor and all the details on his cloak are really nice looking. You can see all the sculpting details on the boots and all the sculpting detail just overall. Overall, this is a really nice figure with paint apps and sculpting. On the back, it's nothing but his cape, but this cape is removable. Once you take off the chest piece and the cape, underneath is pretty dull and unsculpted. This figure also has 14 points of articulation, with a ball joint at the head, ball joint at the shoulders, ball joint at the elbows, swivels at the wrist, swivels at the waist, swivels at the legs, ball joints at the knees, and ball joints at the ankles. Now the cape makes it a little bit challenging to articulate this figure properly, and you're definitely going to need a stand if you're going to try to pose him. The figure and Darth Nihilus previously both stand up perfectly fine without stands and can hold their lightsabers perfectly fine as well. Also, they both have their hand shaped like they're using the Force. This works great for Force Lightning, except the figure does not come with Force Lightning accessories. The next figure we're going to be reviewing is the Darth Maul. Now this is the figure in the set that most people aren't looking for. You normally buy this set to get Bane and Nihilus, but surprisingly, this figure is the best one in the set. This Darth Maul is meant to be before the Phantom Menace during his time training. This Darth Maul just looks like an absolute animal. His face sculpt. And look at the body tattoos and paint all down his body. The paint apps on this figure are awesome, and his face is just the best part of all. This Maul comes with a standard Darth Maul double-bladed lightsaber. This one's hilt is slimmer than most, but it fits in his hands surprisingly well. He can grip it with both hands in any grip you want. This Maul has the best articulation out of all three figures. Ball joint at the head, ball joints at the shoulders, ball joints at the elbows, swivels at the wrist, ball joint at the sternum, swivel at the waist, swivel at the legs, ball joint at the knees, and ball joint at the ankles. Now if you were counting, that's 15 points of articulation, and the standard for this package is 14. Now I feel like I've been rating my figures a little too highly on the Darth Collector's rating scale. Giving Darth Nihilus an 8 or a 9 is just too generous. Compared to this Maul, I think Darth Nihilus is probably a 7. Our benchmark for 9 will be a Kukruk figure. Kukruk is an overall all-around figure, and I'll put a review of him at the end screen of this video. For the Nihilus, I will give him a 7 out of 10, I would give the Maul an 8 out of 10, and I would give the Bane a 7 out of 10. If you're into collecting Sith Lords, this set is definitely a must-have for you. Getting these 3 exclusive Sith to this pack, you can't get them anywhere else. A good price range to look for this pack carded would probably be about $60. It's a little bit on the high end, which is why I would recommend trying to find these figures loose and maybe assemble them individually. I'm going to be uploading a video every day for this next week. Tomorrow's is going to be a quarantine special. Thank you guys so much for watching this channel. Have a great day or night wherever you may be, and may the Force be with you always. And most importantly, stay safe, guys.